Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the broadcast here, we got some European action now coming at you, and we are jumping right into it, obviously. So the Southeast Asia region finishing up right there, and that was a lot of fun to watch there. But we were over on the other stream, you know, casting a couple of matches, but now with the one being done over here, I figure we hop on to the main Beyond the Summit stream. I'm Breaky CPK. I'm joined by Z-Rock here as my co-caster, and we're looking forward to having some fun with you guys for some European action now. As we got our semifinal matchup we're jumping into. This is a best-of-3 game number 1. We have Horde versus Slice and Dice. Horde definitely one of the favorites. However, they were knocked out by this very team in the previous qualifier. So definitely looking for some revenge here in this best-of-3 now, Z-Rock.
Yeah, when they played last tournament, was it round of 16 that it was, a best-of-1?
Yes, it was, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and while I can understand why we have to have best-of-1 formats for these kind of tournaments, it's better to see a best-of-3 like this. I think it shows what team really has the mettle to run deeper in the tournament and who is the better team overall. So definitely excited to see how this one progresses. It looks like Horde does have a fairly early lead here. The Bat Rider is just doing so well.
Yeah, you see, well, we didn't see, unfortunately, kind of getting my bearing straight right here, but Excalibur does get picked off at the bottom lane on that Invoker, so Horde, I mean, they are going to be going for Roshan, but especially with the Invoker dead right now, this is not going to be an easy attempt. It's done very slowly, and they will have to retreat from it. So let's kind of get a grasp here as far as overall what is happening in this game as we are jumping into it, obviously. On the Radiant side of Slice and Dice, we have the Vengeful, who is playing a support Vengeful, by the way. Not often we see that. I feel like we see more of the core, of course, but we got a support Vengeful, we got a Pudge, we got a TA, a Timbersaw, and then Lifestealer coming out right here. So what is your take of that, especially the support Vengeful here?
I mean, this is exactly what you'd expect to see out of support Venge for anyone that watched Dota a couple years ago. It's pretty much what you always saw. 1,700 net worth at 17 minutes in the game.
Oh, TA bottom lane, by the way. He's in trouble. He goes down. 3-3, actually credit for the kill, but gets caught pushing the bottom tower. So nice kill right there. He does have a buyback, of course. I mean, we're only 17.5 minutes in. We're coming from casting a 70-minute game, so I have to remind myself, yeah. We're still early on in this one here.
And these games are all 0-0. Both of the semifinal games right now, these are the first games of them. So we've got Slice and Dice and Horde here, and Bean Boys and Buhal over on the other one. So we'll be trying to catch both of them here and there. But yeah, starting with this Horde game 1. And the Venge support, the problem that it kind of fell out of favor was it didn't do enough. If you couldn't get extra early levels and Nether Swap, a support Venge couldn't really stay in range to be a productive ult, even if you're going to try to use it defensively. And the lasso in mid here.
Oh, do they get a catch? Yes, they do. They catch Jafar, but he's going to be able to rage on up and make his escape. Gork is like, I want to put in some auto attacks, but not going to be nearly enough. He'll have time lapse. The hook is going to be out of range as a result. So obviously Lifestealer can be a difficult target to take out ultimately. He does get low, but back to the base for the Shrine. But yeah, keeping that swap distance is kind of the key for the Vengeful, it sounds like.
Yeah, and if you're not getting early levels in Vengeance, you're not getting the extra pushing benefit. So it kind of just fell off as a support, because if you look at what the other supports are offering right now, like Rubik is so versatile as a support. Definitely one of the premium ones we're seeing right now. Disruptor lets you make some huge plays with Glimpse. They just kind of all seem a little more impactful than what Venge is bringing to the table. This is also a support Slaughter on Horde's side, which is something that's come and gone a little bit here and there.
Timbersaw going to the top lane, trying to contest the Slaughter. But yeah, the support Slaughter, as you mentioned, he does have a Blink Dagger, though, and it looks like he's working on a 4-staff. So we're pre-20 minutes, and he's getting close to, well, I think he actually has enough. I guess he's just shy. But anyways, very close to having the combo. And that seems to be pretty good timing as bottom lane Ake. Whoa, he's down here pretty far pushed up by himself, actually.
Yeah, he was super deep. He tried to just grave TP, but Avenged Sun made short work of that. This is an interesting game in the fact that so much of the damage is physical from Slice and Dice. A Ghost Scepter is going to pay off huge for Horde eventually on the Bat Rider especially. Invoker potentially maybe looking to pick one up after Zags. And the TA is so far ahead in net worth, but if you look at what she has, it's not really in useful items yet. Okay, the Deso just now being picked up. That is going to amplify her damage an insane amount. And at this point, both teams are kind of dangerous. A quick pick from a Pudge Hook or a Bat Rider Lasso, and anyone could die.
Yeah.
So it's all going to be about map control, making sure you have the numbers advantage, you get the initiation off.
It definitely doesn't seem like we're in a ridiculous lead for either side by any means, as you're getting at TA again, being the top net worth, and actually going to find himself in an interesting spot here. Refraction coming out. There we go. The Sunstrike, it connects. And the Bash Proc, I believe, even on top of that. Tia will live for the last second. Minzy gets hooked back, but he does die in the end. Cork, credit for the kill, of course, as the bug goes on. And meanwhile, up here, they also get another catch. Slaughter, that's Batrider actually being thrown every which way, but the eventual swap comes out, and Batrider is going to be picked off. Now we have Weaver continuing to chase, though. He does not have time lapse to lack of mana. Now he does, actually. He thought about using it right there, but he chose that it wasn't the prime spot to be doing so. It isn't necessary.
He chose to hold it, or he would have been right in the middle of the
Yeah,
ring.
that's true, actually, isn't it? He would have gone right back into this. So the correct move. He also dodges the hook in the background as Timbersaw is going to kind of box them out. Timbersaw had pretty early Lotus Orb here, by the way, that he's taken advantage of.
Yeah, very, and we saw what it can do there. The Batrider had a good lasso potential on him, and that Lotus just stopped the lasso from coming out entirely. Batrider tried to hold the lasso until Lotus was done, resulting in his death.
This Scrying Use going to be popping out here from the Horde. Obviously, Roshan is up, and both teams very... Look at all of these wards, by the way, in this area. The double sentry near each other, kind of panic sentries coming out here as they really wanted to kill that Weaver. Speaking of that, the hook on in, but he gets out immediately as he pops that time lapse, so unable to follow it up. But clearly, I mean, we're only 21 minutes in, but this Roshan contestation, man, it feels like we're in a 70-minute game. The way they're contesting.
Liking this Dire Sentry ward saw 2 sentries and an Obs ward.
Nice counter warding coming out. Yeah, this the spam of wards around this area is fairly entertaining, but it looks like we might have a little bit of a retreat now from the Horde. They say, all right, we're wasting too much time. Let's go ahead and farm elsewhere. And Weaver going to try to make use of that farm. He has 2,400 gold saved up. What does Gork go next here? We talked about the Desolator, the Dragonlance that he has.
I'd want to see something a little more defensive out of him. He could look to go BKB, he could be a Lincoln's. I think both of those are viable options at this point. I don't think we're going to see an Ags out of him because he is the primary damage source on this Horde team. But yeah, it looks like it will be the Lincolns. The Perseverance is picked up.
Okay. And how is Lincoln's this game? I'm kind of looking at the other side. There's some
It
decent
stops
abilities.
most of the catch abilities. That's the big thing. It stops open wounds, it stops stun, it stops swap. So you're mitigating a lot of the ways that you can get caught as Weaver. And there's really nothing easy for the Radiant to use to pop it.
Speaking of getting caught, wow, Sunstrike not even needed. That amp damage, the corrosive haze, I don't even think that was actually used in the end. He will pop it right here on a Vengeful, so going for the dive as there's a Flame Break pushback. And Vengeful goes down, a double kill for Cork, and that's going to lead into an easy tower kill. So that Batrider initiation, he was stressing that earlier, and they have the quick catch, and that's a perfect example right there, even on the tanky Timbersaw.
Yeah, this high ground ward that they have near that tier 1 tower there showed the Timbersaw. He saw that there were some Dire members there and popped his Lotus very early. As soon as that dropped, Batrider blinked in, grabbed him, 4-stepped him back, and that was pretty much all it wrote. So the Lotus, very, very nice. We saw it pay off once, but once you use that preemptively and it's down, then you're just food.
Gonna put some pressure on the secondary here. Not going to go all out for it, but letting them know that they are nearby, and at least we'll probably have to defend it as they do. So there's the fallback. As they are trying to go for a catch, Gork, as Timbersaw wants some revenge. Karate Kid, he'll Timber change of the tree in the river there, but again, not going to be able to pursue Weaver. A little too slippery to be running on down. And now Pudge actually trying to throw out a hook. Well, he does. He will miss, unfortunately. Now Invoker running in, but again, uphill. The Shrine is on cooldown. But still, you do not want to fight uphill like that, as that could have been pretty deadly. So, yeah, once again, the Roshan contestation is real. Cork will pick up a double damage, more so bottle up a double damage. Meanwhile, down here, what's going on? TA's dealing with the Invoker as well as the Batrider. Dropping half life. She has a refraction up. Going to be popping it right there. Can she actually get out, though? Blink Dagger? Yes, she can. However, the chase, I got to expect, is going to still happen yet. The charges put up 6 now. That sticky napalm, the dismember on a Batrider, but they do finish off the TA. The hook's going to whiff as well. Now Meet Your Bob may meet his end right here. No, he's not. Invoker needing to run because Life Stealer's here. 3-3, the jukes, though, are real. Blink Dagger out, and he's just going to flap his wings away. Maybe not, actually. Jafar, open wounds, close enough.
The phase boots are down now, although odd choice from the Batrider. The 4-steps coming up to get him over the cliff, but that could have been a little dangerous.
Meanwhile, they're doing Roshan. How about this? Don't have Invoker, Batrider, not needed, apparently.
No, Slardar Weaver with a Deso is more than enough just to plow through a Roshan. So, yeah, easy take for them once the Radiant side was finally distracted. And support Venge, man. We saw in the top lane when the T1 fell. When you have 1,900 net worth 25 minutes into a game against a lineup like this, you just melt. Like, Dazzle at least can grave himself and stall out for a couple more seconds. That Venge gets 2-shot by Weaver at this point.
Yeah. Weaver, the Aegis again, level 16 here. what was I going to? Oh yeah, about Timbersaw real quickly. So again, kind of a hindsight now. Obviously, again, we're even jumping into this game a little bit later on, but again, that Lotus Orb missing out on say that Bloodstone. You'd figure is a definitely typical item on a Timbersaw. Is he maybe missing out on that? You think, or is it fine that he's kind of passed that up?
I mean, I don't think it's terrible. I think Timbersaw itemization depends so heavily on the game. You can go Yules, you can go Bloodstone, you can go Lincolns, you can go Lotus. It's all just what you feel like you need. And the Lotus has stopped the Batrider lasso once already. It's just about making sure he uses it properly.
Well, bottom tower C, just as tier 3 at 26 minutes right here. They're going to get it, and now the Shrine's obviously vulnerable as they will retreat immediately. So that's exactly what Horde wanted, and no more. Timber Chain in, though. They're going to definitely be forced to fight. They turn in onto Timbersaw, but the Blade Mail and reflect any said incoming damage. Cutting on through with the Whirling Death even of Ake, but he'll manage to live. And he cannot get away in time. Can Timbersaw? He goes down. Gork is unstoppable, apparently. And we're definitely witnessing that as down goes Pudge now. So the chase not working out for Slice and Dice. 4 are dead. It's just going to be Jafar. He has to kind of stand his ground. He infests the creep at the last second, but which one is it? He's in one of the dire creeps right here. So yeah, they'll just kind of use him to actually siege the base now and take out the melee racks.
Yeah, very, very aggressive Timber Chains in there from the Timbersaw. Put him in a really bad spot. As soon as the Blade Mail fell, Corrosive Haze and right clicks just caused him to melt. Good job from Gork there to hit the backlines instead of trying to focus the Timber. We saw the TA dropping very early on in that fight. The Vengeful got picked off 2 shots later. So he just cleaned up the backlines there while the Timber, their main frontliner, was just dead.
Yeah, TA getting picked off all the way at the top lane, so really just completely different fights that were happening, and clearly across the board, Horde is definitely feeding off of what just happened. There will be a hook on a Gork, and he has time-lapse, choosing not to use it right there, but that's because they want to turn this around. Oh my god, that damage on a Karate Kid. He actually will live in the end, but just barely. He needs to play very defensive. The lasso, meanwhile, on a Lifestealer as they lock him in place, and there's no way he's getting out of that one. So he's dead. They did pick off Timbers on the background. The 2-man crush coming out. Down goes Punch. The GG, well played. Look at that. Horde is just starting to go on a roll here with this train, and obviously Slice and Dice has had enough.
Yep, they just called it. They didn't want to be in that game anymore. The initiation from Slice and Dice was really bad if you were behind. If you're ahead and sieging buildings, Venge Swap, Venge Stun, and Pudge Hook are all pretty good. But if you're trying to play that from behind, it's really hard. Because if you hook in a fed person on Horde, they just turn and kill you. So unfortunately, the draft not really giving them a lot of options to play from behind. Once they realized how dire that situation was, they decided to go ahead and go next. It is a best of 3, so they're not out of the tournament yet.
Yeah. Yeah, again, we weren't there to necessarily witness the draft, so it's kind of hard to really judge what the ultimate game plan was for Slice and Dice. For all we know, they were planning to run a core Vengeful, and they kind of just felt like they had to swap it up for whatever reason. So, but it clearly did not work out, and Horde had proven to be the better team, at least in that first game. So again, this is a semifinals best of 3, trying to advance on to the what would be the finals, and only one team, of course, from these European qualifiers moving on to the regionals, which do start tomorrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Z-Rock. We are going to go on a short break right here while we set up for game number 2, but stay tuned to our Kiev Major Open Qualifiers European region now